Have you ever really stopped to think about what's running the show inside you? I mean, this invisible network that controls literally everything. From yanking your hand off a hot stove to a simple plant turning towards the sun, every living thing has this incredible command system. So today, we're going to peel back the curtain and see how it all works.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get into why we even react to things. Then, we'll check out the body's super fast electrical network. We'll compare thinking versus reflexes, then switch gears to see how plants pull this off without any nerves. And finally, we'll look at the chemical messengers that tie it all together.
So, first things first, why bother reacting at all? Well, it all comes down to survival. Being able to move and respond to what's going on around you, that isn't just something living things do. It's pretty much a core part of what it means to be alive. I mean, think about that for a second. You touch something scorching hot, and your hand is already flying back before your brain even gets the memo that, hey, that hurts. How is that possible? Well, it's your body's amazing control system kicking into high gear, taking a shortcut to save you from serious damage. And you know, it's not always about just dodging danger. A cat that's chasing a mouse, it's using that same system to hunt for its dinner. A plant that's leaning toward a window, it's using its system to get the sunlight it needs for energy. It's all about reacting to the environment to get what you need.
And get this, it's not just an animal thing. Check out this plant, the mimosa, also known as the touch-me-not. It doesn't have nerves or muscles, but if you touch it, its leaves fold up almost instantly. It just goes to show you that plants have their own really cool ways of reacting to the world.
Okay, so how do animals get those signals flying around so fast? The answer is the nervous system. You can think of it like a biological superhighway, an express lane just for zapping messages from one place to another in the blink of an eye. And this whole incredible network, it's built out of billions, and I mean billions, of these tiny, specialized cells called neurons. They're the basic building blocks, kind of like the individual wires that carry all the information your body needs to do, well, anything. So here's how one of those signals makes the trip. It all starts at the dendrites, which are like little antennae that pick up the message. That kicks off an electrical impulse that zips down the axon. Now, when it gets to the end, it can't just jump over to the next neuron. There's a tiny gap there called a synapse. So it releases these special chemicals that float across the gap and bam, that triggers the next neuron to fire. It's this amazing electrical to electrical relay race, and it happens at unbelievable speeds. And this is the final stop. This is where the message becomes action. What you're seeing here is a neuromuscular junction. It's that critical point where the nerve cell finally passes its message onto a muscle cell, telling it, okay, time to contract. This is the official handoff from information to actual movement. Now, because of this network, our body has two main ways of responding. There's the super fast, life-saving shortcut we call a reflex, and then there's the slower, more deliberate main road that involves actual conscious thought.
So let's break that down. On one side, you've got reflexes. They are instantaneous. Why? Because the signal takes a shortcut. It goes from the sensory nerve straight to the spinal cord and right back out to the motor nerve, completely bypassing the brain at first. Its only job is to keep you safe. But then you have conscious thought. That's slower because the signal has to travel all the way up to the brain, get processed, and then a decision is sent back down. This is for all the stuff we choose to do, like talking or picking up a book. Right, so this reflex arc is basically your body's emergency override switch. It's an ancient and super efficient system. And it exists because your brain, as amazing as it is just too slow to save you from getting a bad burn. Your hand is already safe and sound before your brain even has a chance to go, ouch.
Okay, we know plants can react, but how do they coordinate anything without a brain or a nervous system? Let's switch gears and look at their totally unique, but just as effective, strategies. It's a different kind of smart. Plants basically have a two-speed system. You've got these fast movements, like the touch-me-not plant, that have nothing to do with growth. It's all about rapidly changing the water pressure inside its cells, which makes them go limp in an instant. And then you've got the slow and steady movements, which are actually caused by growth, like a tiny seedling pushing its way up through the soil toward the light. And that slow, directional growth, it has a name. It's called tropism. It's the secret to how a plant can look like it's moving over days or weeks. It's just very carefully controlling which way it grows in response to something in its environment.
And there are a bunch of different kinds of tropisms. You've got phototropism, which is growing toward light. Geotropism is how roots always know to grow down and shoots know to grow up. Hydrotropism is growing towards water. And chemotropism is growing in response to certain chemicals. Every single one is a really clever survival strategy. So we have fast electrical signals for animals and these slow growth responses in plants. But there's another system, a much slower chemical-based one that, believe it or not, both plants and animals use. This is the world of hormones. So why do we need both? Well, think of it like this. The nervous system is like sending a text message. It's incredibly fast, and it goes to one specific person. The hormone system, on the other hand, is like posting a message on a giant public billboard. It's way slower to get out there, but its chemical message can be seen by everyone. It reaches cells all over the body through the bloodstream, creating big, widespread changes. For example, let's go back to that plant bending towards the sun. How does it do that? It's all thanks to a hormone called auxin. This chemical moves to the shady side of the stem and tells the cells over there, hey, grow longer. And as they get longer, they literally push the tip of the plant towards the light. It's so simple, but absolutely brilliant. And we animals do something very similar in those high-stakes moments. Imagine a squirrel sees a hawk circling overhead. Its body instantly floods with a hormone called adrenaline. That chemical messenger sounds the alarm and gets the squirrel's whole body ready for what's known as fight or flight. Adrenaline is incredible. It makes your heart pound faster, makes you breathe quicker, and it shunts blood away from things like digestion and sends it straight to your big muscles. All of this works together to get your body perfectly primed for a sudden burst of intense action. You know, this quote from the source material really just nails it. It says, in other words, living organisms must use systems providing control and coordination. And that's the bottom line. Whether it's a lightning-fast nerve impulse or a slow and steady chemical signal, these systems are absolutely essential for survival. So just as you're sitting here right now, there are trillions of signals firing all over your body, coordinating everything. You're breathing, your heart's beating, you're holding your posture, and you're thinking about what I'm saying. So here's a final thought. Which system do you think is doing most of the work for you right now? The automatic fast reflex system or the slow, deliberate command system? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it?